This is At Face Value.
What's up, everybody? Here we go again. Episode 12, At Face Value. I'm Brian.
And I'm Lucas.
So excited to have you back for another week. We're here on a Monday night. Like I was saying last week, I decided to torture myself and make a trip to Jerry World and watch the Cowboys. And for anybody out there that watched the Cowboys, it was pretty much what you expect to happen, dude. So,
I mean, I knew the result, but
yeah.
before the game started, I didn't have to go over there. But I'm sure you had a good time tailgating.
Yeah, I mean, I did have a good time. We always go up on Saturday night, and so we found there's a Twin Peaks like right across the way from the hotel.
Oh yeah.
So like we'll go over there and like we just have a good time with it. And dang, big boy touchdown, dude.
That is a big boy touchdown.
And so we're watching the Commanders and Bengals, and they threw it to their offensive linemen. So you always root for the big guys on that, dude. Like
That might be Jaden Daniels' best target, from what I hear.
Yeah, he doesn't have much else to throw to, honestly. But yeah, man, it was a good time. We always just make the best of it. And I mean, this week I know we've kind of talked about the Cowboys, but expectations are what they are, and it is kind of funny. I mean, we didn't have it scripted to start like this, but I mean, the Cowboys, like people are asking if the Cowboys are frauds, and what I keep telling people is they're not frauds. That like this is like if you're a logical Cowboys fan, like this is what you expected to happen, is that they're mediocre. I do the biggest thing that I saw this week, and I actually texted my brother and my uncle this morning, is that Derrick Henry ran for like 150 yards and a touchdown yesterday against the Cowboys. And that was like my number one on the wish list in the offseason, was that the Cowboys would at least go for Derrick Henry because they needed running back help. And instead they bring back Zeke, and then they go with their backup Rico Dowdle, and they let Derrick Henry walk. And then Jerry Jones says this morning, or maybe he said yesterday, he said that they couldn't afford Derrick Henry. But
Aren't they paying Dak like $10 million?
That's the problem. They're paying Dak $60 million.
Well,
So,
total, but
yeah.
per season.
Yeah. No, they're paying him $60 million per year. You talking about Dak?
Yes.
Yes, they gave him a 4-year, $240 million contract, dude. You didn't know that?
No, dude, I don't keep up with it.
He's the highest paid player in history.
Oh my God! So he's saying he couldn't afford?
So
Derrick Henry couldn't have been asking for. I mean, didn't you say they had to like sign him for even more to get him back than what they already like were paying him or something?
You're talking about Zeke. You're thinking of Zeke.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they brought Zeke for it's $3 million is what they're paying Zeke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're paying.
So Derrick Henry got the $60 million a year.
No. I said Dak.
Yeah. So they're paying a lot of money for Dak.
Yeah.
Could have they not used that money to pay it?
But that's pretty much what Jerry was saying, is like he wasn't going to spend money in the preseason or the offseason because he knew that he was going to pay Dak that crazy money. Like he
wanted Dak that bad?
Yes, dude, and I don't understand.
That's
like this is my
nutty,
biggest
dude.
argument. This was the biggest opportunity for the Cowboys to get a hard reset. Dak is on a final year of his contract. The entire coaching staff is on the final year of their contract. But instead of making them prove it, you're going to give Dak the day before the season starts. You're going to give him $60 million per year. You're going to give CeeDee Lamb $34 million per year, which, I mean, I agree with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb he's one of the best receivers in the league, hands down. But, like, it's unbelievable. Derrick Henry went to the Ravens on a 2-year, $16 million contract.
That's doable.
$8 million per year. Dude, when I saw that contract, I was so mad because the Cowboys, and then they interviewed Derrick Henry, and
I bet he wanted to go.
He did.
Yeah.
He said the Cowboys didn't even call him.
That's crazy. That's
Like,
negligent.
dude, how are you not even going to call? Like,
That's
it's
negligent.
unbelievable.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it just blows my mind, dude, because like, and again, I don't know. I think I said last week, like, it's just the battered fan syndrome. Like, I can't stop watching, but for whatever reason, like Jerry gives me another reason to hate him every single time he talks, dude. Like,
Dude, that's and now that you mention it, yeah, okay. I knew Dak got the $60 million. I was thinking Zeke for some
No,
reason.
no,
I was like,
dude, don't say that.
if that was the case, that's what freaked me out a little bit. I thought you meant
No.
Zeke got the $60 million. I'm like, dude, that's stupid.
But with Zeke, so they're paying him like they still owe him like however many million. It's like they're paying him like $6 or $9 million a year from his last contract. Now they're paying him another $3 million to come back.
And
this year.
that's what I mean. Like they could have just ate that and then put that money towards Derrick Henry. I mean, it seems like pretty logical.
It's easy, dude.
Yeah.
Easy decision to make.
I mean, but in the grand scheme of things, if Derrick Henry's on the Cowboys, would it have made a difference yesterday, or against the Saints, or like defensively? I think that's a problem.
Defense is obviously like the biggest problem, but we know what Dak is. Dak is, when he's at his best, he is an above average quarterback. When he's at his best. Right now, dude, I'm serious. I feel
like you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks.
I agree. But, dude, I watched the game yesterday, and I'm not joking. Like, I was talking to my family. That is the worst. This is Dak's 8th season. He was drafted in 2016. This is 8th season. This is the worst I've ever seen Dak Prescott play. The worst. And I'm not saying that because I'm mad that they lost yesterday. Like, dude, the throws he was making, he was throwing the ball into the ground. He was overthrowing receivers. It was play after play, dude. He was absolutely garbage.
Wow.
And I'm gonna go on my little rant here. I'm gonna move on because, dude, like this is like I was hoping after 24 hours I'd be over it, but dude, it was honestly embarrassing. Like I told you right before we started too, but like the boos, they were sneaking in, and like, but dude, like that's, if you want to get Jerry Jones' attention, you boo. Because if there's one thing that Jerry does not want to be the unpopular guy. And if you start booing, like, I'm not saying like they didn't get rid of Dak or anything like that, but dude, like I'm saying right now, if things don't change, Mike Zimmer will not make it through the season. Mike McCarthy will not make it through the season. Like there's gonna be some big change if things don't change in a hurry.
But how much of that contract is tied up guaranteed? Like that's going to be on the books no matter what.
Yeah, it's $245 guaranteed.
Yeah, like that's a problem.
Yeah, dude, like it's kind of like the Browns, with Deshaun Watson. Like you're stuck.
Like Jerry made that a problem.
Yes. And again, like where did he earn that money? Oh, T. Higgins just played for the Bengals. Sorry.
See? He has the same weapons. Joe Burrow has the same weapons.
Yeah, same weapons, but
offensive line's still
garbage. Yeah, man, like it's bad. Like he's just good. He has no time to throw.
I mean, he just got sacked a while ago, and the dude went untouched. What's his name? Pierre? I don't know. I want to say Pierre Paul, but that dude's probably retired.
I was gonna say Pierre Paul. I think he retired a few years ago.
Probably. Oh, Jean Baptiste.
Before he lost his other hand.
Yeah.
But anyway, dude, like it's embarrassing at this point. Like
yeah.
Like I said, and I know that's Jerry's biggest fear is having to actually go through a rebuild phase. But
at some point,
if you want to have consistent success, then you've just got to do it. Like you've got to, at a certain point, you've got to bite the bullet, and you've just got to go through it. And he just absolutely refuses. And so now we're stuck with Dak for another 4 years, making ungodly money, and just hoping that somehow he figures it out, which I think he's had plenty of time to show whether he's going to figure it out or not, and he's not going to figure it out.
No, it's over.
So,
you know who Jerry should have signed?
Who's that?
Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, dude. Ohtani could probably do anything he wants to at this point, dude.
Let's go into that a little bit, man. A 50-50 season. That dude's pushing a 60-60 now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he hit his 53rd home run last night, and yeah, he's got 51 or 52 stolen bases. Like, well, dude, I don't know if you saw the stat, but that game where he hit 50, he had 6 hits. So they said that no players ever in their career had a game with 6 or more hits, 2 or more stolen bases, 3 or more home runs. There was like a list of like 6 or 7 different things, and he did it all in the same game.
Dude, on a betting side of that,
yeah.
his line on Prize Picks for fantasy points was 10.5. Guess how many points he had that game?
He probably scored at least like 60 or something.
He had 83 fantasy points.
83.
83 fantasy
dude,
points.
like,
I feel like that dude, just whenever he wants to, he can turn it on.
Yeah,
because he was like right at that record. He's like, I'm just going off today.
Yeah, and he did do like. Well, I know we talked about it in the group chat, but man, if he played for pretty much anybody else, like I would root for that. I mean, I root for him anyway.
No, I don't.
Just because he is such an elite player.
He's a Dodger.
But yeah, because he plays for the Dodgers, like, dude, you can't root for him.
But yeah, man, I saw that 83 fantasy points, which is unbelievable.
Yeah, dude, like it's like a lock in Prize Picks every game, dude. Like, so I don't know, man, but
And you see the person who caught the ball?
no, who wasn't?
Some dude caught the ball, or some chick caught the ball. I don't remember if it was a guy or a girl. They said nah. $3 million, I think, is what they offered.
I did hear about that. They offered $3 million.
I think that's what.
No, I don't think it was that. I think they offered her it was like a signed ball, it's
supposedly it's worth the ball's worth $3 million.
Yeah, so that's what she's gonna do. So like they tried to offer her like signed memorabilia or something, and she was like, nah, like I'm gonna hang on to this, and then when he's in the Hall of Fame someday, then she'll.
Dude, you just keep that,
yeah,
or you keep and pass it down to your kids.
Yeah, dude.
Like I got the first 50-50 homer ball in ever.
Yeah, and then but like I said, once he goes in the Hall of Fame, dude, like that.
Like imagine being
that ball's gonna be worth unbelievable money.
Imagine being like the great grandkid and be like, my grandparents, this ball.
Yeah,
like Babe Ruth. You know, like everybody talks about Babe Ruth signed ball.
Well, it's like the Honus Wagner baseball cards
card,
that got sold for multi-million dollars. Like it's going to be the same thing someday,
but there's only one of those.
Yeah, exactly.
There's only one ball.
It's one of one.
Yeah.
I wonder how you authenticate that though. Like I wonder if like there's a whole process you have to go through to like prove that it's.
I'm pretty sure MLB authenticates pretty much everything. Like. I don't know about foul balls and stuff, but I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure as something of that magnitude, it's already authenticated. I would think.
Because there's got to be a certain way to do it. Because you don't want it to get screwed later and be like, they're like, nah, how you gonna prove it's that ball? And it's like, oh well, like I'd be calling people immediately and be like, we got to make sure people know that this thing is legit. Cause, dude, you can't lose out on that. But
I mean, the races are coming down to the wire. I think the Astros have a chance to clinch tonight.
If they win tonight, it's clinched.
Yeah, but I think they're down 1-0 last time I checked. They aren't hitting the ball again.
Well, dude, Jordan going down is a big problem.
Dude, if Jordan misses an extended period in the playoffs, we might be in trouble.
Yeah, and the way that Joe Espada was talking to did not sound.
He did not sound too excited about it.
Because I think yesterday he said...
He kept saying praying. I've been praying. I'm like, God, that's never a good sign.
Well, I think they asked him after the game yesterday how Jordan was, and he said, it's not great.
Yeah.
Like that. So whenever he says that, like automatically...
They said he was doing some MRIs today. Hopefully it comes back negative.
Man. They said he was extremely sore. But
it wasn't even like a crazy thing. He just slid and bumped his knee.
Yeah, dude. Like, I don't...
That's fragility. It's like, dude, like, come on. He glass knees? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, he's probably 48 years old or something.
I mean, true.
So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Is he from... He's from Cuba,
he's
right?
Cuban, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, so they didn't know.
He's probably 12. Yeah. Like that. I am 12.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's coming down to the wire there. I think there's the Phillies can clinch, I think, tonight. I think there's a possibility for the Phillies to clinch, and I think there's a few teams already made their way.
Yeah, so I think the Phillies did clinch, so they won earlier today.
Did they win today? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, man, there's a lot of, like, dude, the wild card races are super stacked.
The Tigers, man. What happened? And the Twins just fell off.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
The Tigers are in the second spot, I think.
Third spot. Well, they're tied for second.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it right now.
I think they own the tiebreaker, don't they?
Well, dude, well, they're tied right. Well, it has them third right now, so I guess the Royals have the tiebreaker over them.
Got it.
But dude, the Royals are on a 7-game losing streak right now.
Yeah.
And so, like, there's a chance they could go out. Like, dude, I'm looking at the standings right now. So Baltimore's pretty much a lock. They have a 4-game lead.
Yeah.
But then it's the Royals and Detroit, and then Minnesota's 1 game out. Seattle's 2 games out. Boston's 3.5 games out. Tampa Bay's 4 games out. So, I mean, I know there's only 6 games left, but, dude, like, I mean, crazier things have happened. So,
no doubt.
There's a bunch of teams that are still in it. Well, and then, like, in the NL, there's fewer teams, but it's San Diego, the Mets, and then Arizona, and then Atlanta's 2 games out right now. Yeah. So, man,
anything can happen there.
That's going to be tight. So, I mean, like, it would take an absolute collapse for the Astros to not win the division. But
I mean, they can't get swept this weekend or this week. This 3-game series.
No,
as long as they don't get swept, they're in.
I mean, I think they just have to win one game.
Yeah, they have to win one
They have to
game.
win one of 3 to clinch the division.
Yeah,
so
which should be doable.
It should, but I don't know. But I mean, like, and I would still say, I mean, just based on experience alone, I mean, I think the Astros, regardless of how they've played throughout the year, I mean, just having the experience in the playoffs and everything, I mean, you still have to give them the edge against whoever they play.
I mean, I don't know if I was talking to you about it or if we talked about it last week, or I was talking to somebody about it. Because obviously, if we get matched with the Tigers, skoo balls first.
Yeah,
and that poses a problem for sure. Game one, especially in a 3-game set. But I feel like the Astros, I feel like they're just effing with us in the regular season, man. Like, they just swing at first pitches. Like, in the playoffs, they grind at bats and get to the bullpen. I feel like there's a different mindset that they, like, once the playoffs hits, like it just goes into a different mode. And I feel like that's happened in the past few years, because I feel like the past few years we've been, like, same thing. Like, in August, September, we kind of hit a lull.
that is
and
true.
Then we're like, dude, what is going on? Like, didn't last year we, like, lost a series to the? I mean, obviously the Diamondbacks made the World Series, but I think we lost a series at the end of the season to the Diamondbacks, and we're just like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah, I think it was the last series of the season and got swept or something.
It was, and we're like. And I think, actually, we might have done okay against them. I think it was the week before that we, like, lost a series to the freaking A's or something. It was something stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, my God, here we go. And then it turns out they went into the playoffs and just grinded at bats. And honestly, if Yainer Diaz plays against the Rangers, we probably are in another World Series. And probably win another World Series, because the Diamondbacks they fell, like, their pitching staff got thin towards the end.
Well, and pretty much the Diamondbacks did exactly what the Phillies did the year before. Like, they were just a hot team going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then you just eventually, like, the better team's just going to win out at the end. So, yeah, I mean, that was frustrating, because if they beat the Rangers, I mean, like, it's not a lock, obviously, but I mean, it's pretty close that you win that World Series there. So, definitely tough for sure, but I mean, I'm still excited. I mean, I think, like I said, regardless, especially, like, the pitching's been doing very well.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, you just got to get in. And then once you get in, anything can happen. So,
yeah.
But it's going to be a lot of fun. And, I mean, it's just because they got the Mariners coming up, and then they end at the Guardians, which is kind of crazy, because, you know, you see the Guardians at the end, and then that's most likely who they'll see in the division series.
Yeah, but I mean, they probably already have it locked up now.
Who's that?
The Guardians. They'll probably already have their position locked up if they don't already.
Yeah, but but I mean, like, if they're not gonna have to play in the wild card, I mean, surely, like, they're not gonna sit their guys out though, right?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, that's a long break, because I mean, that's one of the biggest arguments that you keep seeing from teams like the Dodgers and the Braves. It's
having
like,
such a long break.
Yeah, it's oh, like, you know, we got to go through that whole break and everything. So, so I would be surprised if they just sit their guys now.
But then we would just say devil's advocate, the Astros get swept by the Mariners. We still have a 2-game lead.
Yeah, like, it's the magic number is 2.
Yeah,
so regardless, I mean, like, the Mariners have to win their last 6 games.
Yeah, and we have to lose.
And the Astros have to lose 5.
Yeah.
So, which, if you lose 5 out of your last 6 games, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs anyway.
Agreed.
So, but yeah, so I mean,
and
we'll see.
Vintage Fromber will probably come out. You know, like,
oh yeah, for sure. Well, and I would say too, like, if the Astros, you know, assuming they win 1 out of 3 against the Mariners, they're also gonna have to be careful with how they approach the Guardian Series too.
Yeah.
Because they only get Monday off next week, and then they go into the Wild Card Series.
Yeah.
So you need to start stacking up your rotation to where you have your best guys pitching on Tuesday.
That's
so
true.
So honestly, like, that last series with the Guardians may just be like
whatever.
Yeah, like a crapshoot. Like, you're just gonna hopefully score a lot of runs, because it's just gonna be different bullpen guys pitching or something. But, yeah, man. But I mean, I think the MLB playoffs, like, honestly, like, if you told me right now who I think's gonna win, like, I mean, I don't know who's gonna win it, just because it just seems like there's a lot more parity this year, and I know the last several years there's kind of been more, but I feel like just the league overall is just extremely even.
I mean, yeah, I feel like every year I go in, I'm like, dang, dude, the NL's a gauntlet.
Yeah.
And then when they get to the World Series, they just crap the bed.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Every year. I mean, obviously, the the Braves in, what was that, 2019? Or was that
It's 21, yeah.
21, and then before that you had the in 2019 was the Nationals.
Nationals.
But I mean, like, it's never like the people you think. Like, I didn't think the Nationals were going to be there. The Braves, I mean, they were pretty good, but I mean, they had to go through the Dodgers. I mean, like, I was like, oh, well, those are your cream of the crop. I didn't think the Braves were the cream of the crop then.
Well, and then
they were very young at that point.
And then like the Mets playing right now. Like,
Yeah.
who would have thought the Mets would be in a wild card position? Like, because they started off bad this year too.
2 or 3 months
and
ago.
Then, and then they started rolling. So
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the biggest thing is, and that's the great part about baseball is that all you gotta do is get hot at the right time. Like football, it's harder to just be the hot team and win out because it's just such a grind week after week. Now, I mean, you could argue. I mean, I know like when the Giants, when they won their first or their 2 Super Bowls with Eli Manning, I mean, they did the same kind of thing. Like they just got hot and they just rolled in.
Yeah, and that happens in the NFL. Like, I'm pretty sure whenever I was watching a lot, like I think it was the Marshawn Lynch like beast mode like run, like the Quake game like against the Saints. Like I think they were like a 7-9 team that barely snuck in, and the Saints were huge favorites, and then that happens, you know. Football is one of those games too, and I mean, that's where we can get into the conversation and the debates about like the American playoff system versus like the Premier League, where like the champion over there is crowned on who's the best consistent team over the course of the whole season, instead of being a hot team. And you have tournaments and things for that. Like tournament soccer is completely different, where it's knockout stages all whole time.
Well, so I was going to ask you about that.
Which I like. I like the consistency across the whole season. Like, I mean, it doesn't make us for as fun like games like the playoffs. Obviously, like it's win or go home,
right?
You know, once the playoffs hit. But the consistency throughout the whole season, like, and then you throw relegation in there as well. It just makes it. I like that better. I like that system better.
Sure. But I do like the American style with the playoffs because it gives like those lower teams that are playing well at the end to at least have a chance to make that run.
Yeah.
And so because but dude, I mean, look at it from a Premier League side. Like, how many World Series would the Dodgers have?
I mean, true, but like, do they have the best record in baseball right now? Now that they've split up like who you play, because for the longest time, like the Diamondbacks were garbage.
Yeah.
The Rockies were garbage. The Padres, garbage.
But that's
like
what I'm
their
saying.
division was so bad, and they had to play them all 19 times in a season. So now that there's interleague play where you play more teams more often, it's more spread out.
Yeah. And they still have the best record, but it's only by a game.
Yeah,
this year.
exactly.
Instead of winning, well, last year they won 120 games or whatever it was, and then lost in the divisional round. But
and granted, I do like that the playoffs can give those teams, but like, is it like participation now to get in? Like how many teams are going to get into the playoffs? Like they added another wild card. Like they're just adding more teams to get in, which again, anybody can win.
Yeah, and that part
in baseball for sure.
That side I'm not as much for is like the
one
getting
playoff.
more teams into it. Like even the NFL, you know, they go to 7 teams making the playoffs instead of 6, and taking away the bye from the number 2 seed. Like, I do think that there should be, you want your best 6 teams playing. And that's where even, like, the thing I don't like about the NFL, so like you were talking about the Marshawn Lynch game, so they went 7-9.
Won the division.
Won their division, but because they won the division, they got to host a playoff game.
We had to go up there to play.
Yeah.
The Saints did.
So, like, at least in the NBA, like, I remember when the Rockets, when they had Yao and Tracy McGrady, like they didn't win their division because, you know, the Spurs were so stacked at that time, so they would get the 5 seed, but they would play against Portland, who was the 4 seed, but the Rockets were still the home team because they had a better record. And so at least in the NBA, like they at least stacked it to where they like the better record got to still be the home team.
Gotcha.
And so like I would rather agree with that. Like if you're gonna yes, if you win your division. Because, I mean, like you said, like, especially the AFC West at that time was horrible. And then, like, the Cowboys, or it was like, I think the Giants ended up winning the division. Or no, it was the Redskins won the division that year. They went, like, 7-9 or something. And they get to host a playoff game. Yep. Like, you won in a bad division. That doesn't mean you deserve to host a playoff game. Like, that just means you played worse teams than other people.
That's
like,
exactly what it comes down to.
So, I mean, and so that is one thing I wish that they would fix is, like, regardless of, seeding or whatever, it's the better record should be the one that's hosting it. So.
Yeah. And with soccer, I guess it's two different sports too. Like, soccer goes on for so long. Like, soccer goes from literally August all the way to May. Like, it's a huge long season. So
for sure,
I guess it's a difference. And they play tournaments during the season. So there's knockout games.
Do they get points for those games?
No. It's only league games.
Okay.
Yeah, it's only league
So
games.
it like counts for their record or whatever, but it doesn't count as far as like points towards like the overall standings.
I mean, it really doesn't count towards their record, really. Like, it's just like a one-off thing. Like
Gotcha.
On Wednesday, Arsenal played Bolton, like in the EFL Cup. Like, it's just another cup that they're playing. And like, if they win or lose, it doesn't matter with the league standings at all. Like, it has no effect at all.
Yeah.
They'll just play, and if they win, they go to the next round. If they lose, they're out.
So, I guess like with the Premier League, so they started it's the Champions League, right?
Yeah, it started last week. Yep.
So they played Atalanta. So I know they drew, but
it was 0-0.
But I'm assuming like they didn't put too much stock into that because they knew they were gonna have to have that quick turnaround playing Man City.
Yeah, I think they definitely didn't go all out in attack, and then with Odegaard out, our creator in the midfield, like, he's out with an injury for.
How long is he out for?
I mean, they're projecting him to be back maybe late October at the earliest.
Okay.
It was a pretty bad ankle injury.
Yeah.
And so they're playing a different style. They don't have really anybody like him that can create and get it to the forwards and the wingers. But yeah, they went to Italy. They had to go to Italy on Thursday and play that game, and then fly back to London, and then go to Manchester on Sunday to play City. And I think they were thinking ahead for the league game
for sure. Yeah.
Because in the Champions League, you play 8 games. Now, there's a new format this year where you play 8 games and 8 random teams. They draw them out of a hat. You're setting to like different levels, and you play 8 different teams, 4 home, 4 away, just randomly. And we got drawn Atalanta away for the first one, and then I think our next one is I think we play PSG at home. Next.
Okay.
So like 2 of our hardest games are at the beginning.
Yeah.
But again, you have 6 other games to kind of re-up and play lesser teams to get some points to get there. Because I think the top 16 teams because I think there's like 36 teams, and the top 16 teams,
right,
or top 8 teams actually, it's the top 8 automatically go to the group stage, and then the next 8 play in a little mini tournament to determine who goes to the knockout stage.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool.
I've been trying to listen to a lot of Caught Offside, because they seem to have pretty good info.
Yeah, they do. That's a great podcast.
And they were talking about because Andrew Gunling, he was talking about it was like the magic numbers. They do like their simulations for what you need.
Yep.
And I think it said if you can get I think 10 points is what it was, or no, if you get like 16 points, then you were like a lock if you get in the top 8. And then I think if you got 10 points, that was like the lock to at least get into the
playoff part, yeah.
And so
you need to win pretty much three games and draw 1 to get to 10.
Yeah, so it said it was like 5 wins and a draw get you into the top 8,
easy.
Or is like 4 wins and 4 draws get you into the top 8. So
that should be. And Arsenal have 1 point now against Atalanta, which is a good start. But
yeah, I was gonna say, like, even if you don't play your best game, if you still get that 1 point, it still goes towards what you need.
Atalanta's a good team. Like, they're one of the top teams in Italy, and they've been like that for a few years. They're very good, and they're very good at home. Like, their home record's nuts, and so that's just a tough draw having to do that. And then City got to play on Wednesday at home. And then they played at home on Sunday. So they had an extra day of rest, no travel.
Yeah, just sitting at home, just waiting.
And then, obviously, how the game went. So Arsenal 2, Manchester City 2.
It's a tough game, man. That's a tough draw.
Yeah, Holland scores early. And honestly, that's a big game early on in the season for the title race. Arsenal are sitting in 4th place now with I think they're 2 points out from first behind City. Like, whenever they were winning the game, they were at the top of the league.
Okay.
Kind of the live standings, but Holland scores early in the 8th minute. I thought it was going to be doom and gloom.
It's like a guarantee that dude's just going to score.
Yeah.
It's like unbelievable.
I mean, dude, Arsenal have held him down in check since he's came to the Premier League. I think that was either his first or second goal since being in the Premier League against Arsenal.
Oh, dang.
And Arsenal haven't lost a game to him in the last 4 times they played. They've either drawn or won.
Yeah.
So something's going on at Arsenal that's good. But they score, and then Calafiori has a Calafiori, one of our new signings this summer, just an absolute cracking goal from outside the box, like a dumb goal.
That was a big signing for them.
Yeah.
Whose spot did he end up taking?
So he took Ben White's spot yesterday, but Ben White was kind of nursing an injury. He was on the bench and actually came on after, and then Gabriel scores a header from a corner to make it 2-1 for Arsenal to go up ahead. And then it's literally 6 minutes of added time. We're playing 8 minutes in, and then Trossard, who's already on a yellow, kicks the ball away after the ref blew his whistle after a second, and he gets a second yellow for it again. And so we have to play 10 men for the whole second half.
And still almost win.
Defend our asses off.
Yeah.
For freaking 45 minutes, actually 50 minutes, and then they score on a deflected, like, bounce around the freaking box goal. And then after the goal was scored, Holland runs into the net, grabs the ball, and throws it at the back of Gabriel's head.
Yeah, I saw that, dude. And they didn't even nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. If Gabriel did that to Holland, he would be deported and would never play soccer again.
Yeah, you would never see that guy.
Yeah, it's
ever.
crazy. It's crazy, man. It's nuts. But yeah, that was a. I'll take a point for sure, but it was just demoralizing.
Yeah, you just hate to see that because, I mean, if you can get 3 points there, because,
I mean, dude, we're rolling.
Like you said, it's the difference between first and fourth, and of course it's early, it's not a breaking point, and like you said, you still get a point out of it.
Yeah, and if you would have told me at the beginning of the game, hey, we're gonna go to City and get a point, I'd been like, let's do it.
Yeah,
but
then you see the way it plays out.
Yeah,
and you're like,
whenever it plays out like that, it's tough pill to swallow
for sure.
But I mean, it's early. There's still plenty of time. Arsenal has some pretty favorable games coming up. I mean, we went to Tottenham, to City, and to Aston Villa already, and we've only played 5 games.
Wow.
So there's been some tough draws already. So there should be some lighter stuff coming up ahead.
Yeah, and they've played well overall.
I mean, but the crazy thing is they haven't played to their potential at all. That's what's nutty, dude. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like if they can get it clicking and everybody come back healthy, Odegaard come back, not have stupid red cards that keep coming on. Like, I mean, the sky's the limit. Honestly, we're one of the front runners for a reason.
Oh yeah, for sure. So
another front runner, Liverpool. They kind of destroyed Bournemouth.
Well, dude, they lost
3-0. But dude,
they lost last week, didn't they?
Yeah.
To was it Brighton?
Nottingham Forest.
Nottingham. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I think we talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, so there's 4 undefeated teams still in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest is one of them. Nottingham Forest, Brighton, City, and Arsenal are the only teams that haven't lost a game yet.
Brighton?
Yeah, dude.
Brighton, I think we talked about them in the beginning. They're one of those just like scrappy teams.
Yeah.
Like they find a way to win or draw in games that they shouldn't even be in, and so.
And that's who Nottingham Forest played this weekend. It was Nottingham Forest against Brighton, and they ended up drawing.
Yeah.
And and then Tottenham got a win. Chelsea 3-0, dude, against West Ham. Chelsea scoring goals for fun when they want to. Can they defend? I don't think so. But once they turn it up, they're kind of scary. Like if they can put it all together.
And I know we talked about them too. Like they score was 6 goals the first game, and then the next week they get shut out.
Yeah.
Like they're just so inconsistent.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's another team. I know we talked about it. They spent so much money on all their guys, and when you have that much money to spend, and so.
Yeah, when they're clicking, though, they're pretty scary.
So how does that work? So I know that the U.S. team got their manager.
Yeah.
Does that mean like he's no longer like? Does he still manage Chelsea and?
Oh no, he's not.
He's full time.
Oh yeah, he's full time.
Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure how that
coached
works.
Chelsea for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, he got fired from Chelsea, but Chelsea fires managers like freaking. Like McDonald's employees, like 16-year-old employees. Chelsea goes through managers like crazy. But his probably his best tenure was at Tottenham. He brought Tottenham to a Champions League final. They ended up losing it. I want to say to Liverpool, but which was crazy. And then I think the next year or the year after he got fired because they weren't as good.
I gotcha, yeah.
And then he went to PSG, won the league there a few times, but couldn't make it happen in the Champions League, which is what they want because they should win the league like every year just because they have the most money in that league. But yeah, then he ended up going to Chelsea and it didn't work out there. But he's a great manager. I think he's going to be a very, very good fit for the U.S.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what he can do over the next 2 years. I'm actually going to be at his first managerial appearance against Panama. So
that's a game.
Yeah, and it's in Q2.
When is that? That's in
October 12th.
It's October.
So it's going to be the best day in college football.
I'm going to be working that day anyway.
I'm be missing out on all the great stuff going on.
My phone.
Yeah, dude, like there's going to be a lot of great football going on. But speaking of football, man, it was a good weekend of football. So
great football weekend. For
sure.
lot
of big games, good bounce back from the week before.
Yeah.
And, there's some teams that are starting to step up. Like, I guess starting off, we can look at our opposite picks for the Big 12 championship played each other, Utah and Oklahoma State. And I know one thing that I talked about last week is that even though Cam Rising wasn't playing, Utah still got a good defense, and anything a good defense is gonna be an advantage for you in the Big 12. And they were able to shut Oklahoma State down pretty much the entire game.
Dude, I'm just so disappointed in Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, he is completely like disappeared this year.
That dude's draft stock had been tanked by now. Like the first 4 games, I mean, I think he might be averaging like 40 yards a game.
I think he got 100 yards his first game, and I don't think he's even gotten close to that since then. So
not even close.
Like
it was against Tulsa, that's why.
Yeah.
No, he had 41 yards against Tulsa.
So even that one, wow.
41 yards against Tulsa. That wasn't the first game of the season. That's my bad.
But yeah, but it's still like, I mean, like this.
Against Tulsa. Against South Dakota, that's who they played.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
He had 104 against South Dakota. And then Arkansas shut him down.
Tulsa 40 yards, and then
49 against Arkansas. 42 against Utah. So when they play like division, like FBS schools, he's averaging 40 yards a game.
I wonder what that is, man. Like surely like their offensive line's not that bad. Like
I don't know.
But also, I mean, it makes sense. Like Alan Bowman, he's their starting quarterback. He went 16 for 33 for 200 yards. So most likely what teams are doing is they're just
stacking the box.
They're stacking the box, and they're going to force you to pass, and then Bowman's not doing enough to pass the ball, and so they're just going to stack all day and just make you run it. So,
but Utah, they ended up winning by what, 3?
Yeah, 22-19. So
I mean, it's not like they're like, obviously without Cam Rising, it makes a big difference.
Micah Bernard, the running back, he had 182 yards. So yeah, I mean, that was the big thing. But I mean, like passing wise, Isaac Wilson, their backup quarterback, he had a touchdown, 2 picks. So I mean, he didn't look great. So I mean, it's kind of just one of those grinding games we're going to talk about. But I think the biggest challenge to Utah right now. Well, I think there's 2 teams. Number one, I think Iowa State is going to be a challenge for them, and then the team that I dogged on, BYU, is now 4-0. Dude, they absolutely rolled Kansas State.
Dude, I told you, man. It's because they're like 30, man, or 28 years old playing, man.
I would have never thought that.
Men against boys.
Dude, they were so bad last year. Like I did not think they would bounce back like this, but. Dude, they did anything that they wanted against Kansas State. Like I watched the majority of that game, and
I'm not gonna lie, like I low key wanted to put them as one of my sleepers, but I didn't.
Yeah, well, dude, you should have, because they're rolling, but
and it's only because of their age.
Just a bunch of big white dudes just all over the field. So
and then Michigan, USC.
Michigan with you can call it an upset. I mean. But I also think that kind of showed. I mean,
but dude,
it might be a sensitive topic for you, but I think it just shows you that USC and LSU were way overhyped coming into the season. Like,
I mean, I don't disagree at all. But the one thing I will say is, and this is part of the game, so you can't neglect it completely. Like if Michigan doesn't have those 2 long touchdown runs, that orgy dude threw for like 38 yards.
32.
Like 32 yards. So I mean, it's not like Michigan is like some crazy good offensive juggernaut.
No.
Like that's a great
That
pass.
was a dirty pass.
Yeah, that's an unbelievable pass. But it's not like they aired the ball out and USC just couldn't like stop anything. Like if they literally don't have those two big huge rushes, I mean, USC kind of coast that game.
Yeah, and it wasn't even Donovan Edwards because Donovan Edwards was supposed to be like the dude
Yeah.
coming in, and it was actually Khalil Mullings.
Yeah.
160 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, and those 2 touchdowns were long, man.
Yeah, as long as 63 yards.
That 63 yarder, like he just busted it up the middle. And I mean, you have to make a play. Like, no doubt, you have to make a play. But USC still, I don't think USC is as bad as, I mean, Michigan's not a good football team. Like, there's no scenario you can get beat like that against a team that throws for 32 yards.
No, for sure. You should never lose a game you should never lose to a team that throws for 30. He only threw the ball 12 times.
Oh, and LSU's garbage, but LSU should have beat USC as well. Like
I
down
agree.
the stretch, they just didn't make the plays, and USC did. They made some crazy catches when it mattered, and that's what was the difference.
I saw somebody that had they had USC as their number 2 Big Ten team.
Nah,
And I think even though Oregon hasn't looked great and they've struggled a little bit, like I still think like they're still the number 2 right now.
Who?
Oregon.
Yeah, maybe. But this win for Michigan just goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the season, at why I had them in my playoff.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, like they're gonna hype this win up so big, like the committee is. They're gonna be like, oh, Michigan beat a great USC team. Like it's what's gonna happen. Michigan's getting in.
Oh yeah, I mean it's gonna. Yeah, I mean they'll probably sneak in somehow, dude. Even Notre Dame's like already back up to like 15, 16.
I mean, dude,
like,
LSU's number 16 right now.
Yeah, so
Do you honestly like? I'm an LSU fan. I love LSU. Like that's my team. I know almost every player on the team. I can name like every position. They are not the 16th best team in the country.
no, like dude,
Like they're not.
UCLA, like they there was a struggle almost the entire game.
Dude.
They finally broke it open in the second half, but yeah, that was a struggle
Dude,
the whole way through.
LSU is not the 16th best team in the nation. Like they're just not. Like that's crazy. But the crazy thing is, actually, they're number 14 now. Sorry, they're literally 2 spots from a playoff position.
Oh yeah, which is crazy. So.
But the thing about LSU is everything is in front of them. If they, I mean, honestly, like I promise you, I'm a little worried about South Alabama this weekend. I'm not kidding for LSU because it's good. Like they're going into a bye. But if they at home a night game against Ole Miss, there's probably a good chance that College Game Day is going to actually now because there's some big games that weekend. Isn't that the weekend that Ohio
I think that's
State
the October 12th. Yeah,
Ohio State and Oregon.
they'll either be in Dallas for the. Well, no, Oklahoma sucks, so they won't be there. So they'll probably
we'll get to them.
They'll probably be at Ohio State and Oregon.
Yeah,
is
most
what
likely,
I would assume.
most likely. But it's going to be a night game in Death Valley. If somehow LSU was a bad defensive team last year too, and I mean they lost by like a field goal. I mean they did have a great offense, but and honestly, Ole Miss hasn't been tested at all. Like they haven't played anybody.
No.
But if LSU can somehow win that game, like everything's ahead of them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially because I think Ole Miss is number 4.
Yeah.
So
'cause that's the one thing about football. Like you have to allow a team to get better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And honestly, if LSU's playing like absolute garbage, I was going to say something else, garbage. But like, if the things break their way against USC, we're not even having this conversation. LSU's a top 10 team, and we're like,
oh yeah, for sure.
you know, like it's literally like if they convert a 3rd down and 2, and Nussmeier doesn't throw behind that receiver in the flat,
Yep.
and they get that 1st down, LSU wins that game, and we're not having this conversation.
Yeah, it's completely different for sure.
You know, and so that's another thing. So everything's still ahead of them. It's not like the season's over.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's
They're not going to beat Ole Miss probably. If we're probably going to pick that game up, I probably want to pick LSU with my heart, but like realistically, LSU's not winning that game.
But like you said too, it is a rivalry, so I mean, it could be one of those. It goes either way.
But
so.
this is also an all or nothing for Ole Miss this year. Like
Oh, for
Jackson
sure.
Dart's gone. Like all of their highly touted transfers are gone.
Well, that and then
Like-
Florida's going to be calling in the off season for Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like if you don't get it this year, then
It's an all or nothing for Ole Miss. this
yeah,
year.
then it's going to be a hard reset coming up in a hurry.
Yeah,
So.
they're losing a lot. They have
Yeah.
a lot of seniors and like upperclassmen this year. But I know you touched about it a second ago. Oklahoma.
Yeah, they struggled big time, and
Dude.
kind of like what we talked about is is the whole thing with Jackson Arnold actually getting benched in the game, and I just thought that was crazy. I mean, I didn't watch the whole game, but when we were at the restaurant, it was on, so I was following it. But man, he was just struggling the whole time, dude.
One of the guys I listen to, like after LSU games, his name's T-Bob Abear. Mm-hmm. That's the most Cajun name I've ever heard. He said it so perfectly. Like obviously they let Dylan Gabriel walk. Like
Yep.
a multi-year starter. Literally 2 years ago, OU had a 6-7 record.
Yes.
And then the next year they win 10 games, and they're like, "See you later. We're gonna start this young guy." It's literally like he compared it. I don't know. I know you were a big Family Guy watcher back in the day. There's a Family Guy like clip where Peter and Lois, they just get done at a timeshare thing where this guy's just talking.
Yeah.
And the timeshare guy, once they're done, he's like, "Okay, thank you for your time. For your prize, I'm going to give you a free boat or a mystery box."
Yeah.
And Lois is like, "Peter, you've been wanting a boat. Take the boat." And he's like, "But the mystery box could have a boat."
So maybe there's a boat in the box.
So
I
maybe there's a
remember that
boat in the
episode.
box. That's literally the same thing that OU did, man. Like
Yeah,
you don't know what you're getting. Like you know what you're getting with Dylan Gabriel, and he led you to 10 wins. But you're like, "I don't want the boat.
No.
I want these 3 tickets to a crappy comedy show."
Yeah.
That was in the mystery box.
And that's what and that's the crazy part too, is like you said, they let him walk. They pretty much made him walk.
That's crazy, dude.
Like they told him, "You will not start next year. We are starting Jackson Arnold."
That is negligent.
So you need to go.
That's negligent. And that would be the exact same situation. And again, I'm sure we'll talk about it more, but especially as throughout this season and probably next year quite a bit more. But
Yeah.
Arch Manning, it's almost like saying Ewers wants to go somewhere else. "See you later, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead and go, and we're going to start this guy who's never started a competitive game against good competition
But
in his
we
life.
think he's going to be
We
great.
think he's going to be good.
Yeah.
That'd be the same thing.
Yeah,
which
that'd
is
be absolutely wild.
absolutely nuts.
Yeah, because I mean, Arch Manning has looked good for what he's done, but if you look in comparison, he's not Quinn Ewers.
He's not Quinn Ewers, and you can't take anything that he's done so far with any merit.
No, 'cause he's played nobody.
He hasn't played anybody, man.
And even if he plays this week, he's going to be playing against Mississippi State, who's probably one of the worst teams in the nation. Not even just SEC.
Probably
like,
it could be worse than ULM, honestly.
Yeah, like it's pretty close.
And they lost their quarterback.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, Mississippi State did.
Yeah, Will Howard went to Washington.
No. But
Oh, you're talking about this year?
this year he got hurt last week. He got hurt last week.
So it's just about to get worse.
I forgot his last name.
Yeah, I know Texas is 38.5-point favorites already. So
God, dude.
yeah, it's gonna be bad, dude.
But again, like, and Quinn might start. Quinn actually might come back and start. I think he probably should to get some reps in before the OU game.
yeah, you don't want him to go in rusty.
But dude, that's like you can't take anything out from that. And he threw for what, like 280 yards, but he had 2 picks. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't watch the game. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch the game.
Like his first drive, he struggled. He had real bad happy feet, and he threw a bad pick. He threw it into like triple coverage.
Yeah, and those things are gonna happen, like
Yeah,
for sure. But
and that's the thing. It's
imagine
good.
being in a hostile environment,
Exactly.
like the crowd down your throat. You can't hear.
Like imagine, you're starting essentially. Like he's a sophomore because they didn't redshirt him, I don't think. But imagine telling him like you're going to play against Oklahoma and Georgia back to back.
Yeah,
Like it's just.
You go with Quinn because he's been in those situations before.
Yeah, like he's already shown that he can do it. He went
He's
into
gone to
Alabama
Bama,
and he won the big game. Like
Yeah.
he's shown that he understands the pressure.
Yeah,
So
he started and did well against Washington last year in a playoff game.
Yeah, for sure.
He
So-
has the experience, and you can't buy that.
yeah, so I don't know, but I mean I can't say I'm upset because I mean Oklahoma, they can.
I mean, I'm indifferent to OU.
Yeah, but dude, you want to talk about a big win? Colorado getting their first Big 12 win over Baylor. Did you see the Hail Mary?
I saw the first one. Like, didn't they throw it? I saw they threw a Hail Mary.
Dude, it was the worst coverage I've ever seen.
So bad, dude.
He is 47 yards. He just throws it, and the receiver was all by himself in the end zone.
That's crazy.
And he just catches it. Like there was no like fighting for the ball. Like he was just all by himself.
Nobody contested.
And yeah, they ended up winning in overtime, and the fans rushed the field, all that stuff.
I saw they rushed the field for a win against Baylor.
Psycho
man.
Colorado. Like Baylor's so bad. I know we talked about like Dave Aranda. Like
he's gone.
Like
too.
dude, he won a Big 12 championship with Matt Rule's team, and then like it's been downhill since then. So
I mean, I'm scared that Kenny might go there.
You think so?
I mean, that's an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that.
Any open seat, you have to think that's probably an opportunity.
Yeah, because I mean, I was talking to I think I was talking to my brother about it because I thought it was a good point that you made about the guys that want to bring the young coaches in that can relate to the new generation, or whatever, and be able to change it up. So, yeah, man, I don't know though. So, but yeah, Colorado getting their first Big 12 win, and Shadur Sanders back on top of the mountain.
Yeah, his song was playing on the in the locker room. Man, it's pretty sweet.
I'll tell you another big win that I know we didn't even put in our pick'ems because we didn't think it was going to be good was Illinois beating Nebraska in overtime.
Dude, yeah, Illinois, and they have a game coming up this weekend or this coming up week too. I think it's a ranked game as well. Who's Illinois got? Penn State, Illinois.
Yeah, Penn State. So that'll be. I mean, Penn State's like 18-point favorites.
But dude, Penn State struggled against someone early. Wasn't it Bowling Green?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, that was a big win by the Aggies on Saturday night too.
It was huge, man.
Sneaking out with a 26-20 win at home against Bowling Green. Winners win.
That's
know?
right, dude.
So.
Just taking care of business, baby.
Your dark horse in Syracuse taking the L against Stanford.
Dude, that was rough, man.
That was bad. I did not see that coming.
I didn't either.
Stanford going coast to coast for that and still coming out with the win. That was big for them.
That was a big win for that program for sure.
So,
but again, everything's still ahead for Syracuse as well. They have nobody on their schedule.
Yeah, I mean they still have a chance to.
Same thing with
I think the biggest thing we
Rutgers.
talked about is them just making noise, and yeah, I mean Rutgers the same way. Like they're actually playing pretty good right now.
nobody.
So I mean I do agree that Rutgers could definitely make a run. I mean, and that's what's crazy is imagine like everybody's talking about Ohio State and Oregon, like just
Dude, it might be Ohio State Rutgers in the championship.
That's what I
game.
mean, and so like it's going to end up being like Rutgers coming through and finding a way to sneak in. So
it's pretty crazy.
Florida State got the big win over Cal, 14-9.
Florida State finally got it, dude.
They got their first win of the season.
Dude,
so.
Poor Vandy, dude.
Vanderbilt, dude, I watched that game. Absolutely shanked a 31-yard field goal in overtime.
And that's the same kid that missed the one that against freaking Virginia Tech. He missed the one to win it in regulation, and they ended up winning in overtime.
Yeah, but still.
But dude, you can't miss that.
Bad, man, bad.
And they held him to a field goal in that second overtime, and so a touchdown wins it.
I thought they were going to win it,
Dude,
honestly.
I thought so too. I thought they were going to hit their season over.
Yeah, I would say that I think Vanderbilt is probably the best bad team this year. like they're way better than what they've been in years past for sure. So, because I mean, honestly, like I think that's who Texas plays the game after Georgia. So
yeah, they'll be fine.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like it could just be like a letdown kind of game where it's closer than it should be.
Yeah.
Just because Texas going through Oklahoma, going through Georgia, and then.
So take Vanderbilt in the 28 points.
Yeah, probably cover the spread at least.
Yeah.
So and I think it's in Vandy too. So
yeah. I bet you a lot of Texas fans are going to go to that game in Nashville. That's a good.
Oh, I would think
that's
so.
That's a good away game, like
for sure
to go to. Get to go to Nashville and hang out.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, man, it was a good weekend. So there's a lot more games that are coming up as well. So it's going to be the season is full on rolling in, man. So
two other good results. I mean, for Texas State wise, Northern Illinois lost to Buffalo.
Yeah, that was a big one.
That's definitely a good one. And then the other one that was good for us was the who else lost? Someone important lost.
Oh, it was.
It wasn't Liberty.
Liberty snuck it out.
Yeah, it ended up being a little bit separated. As it was a closer game than the score indicates, because I think they ended up winning by like 13 or something.
Who was the other one? I remember it was a.
We talked about it in the group chat for sure.
Yeah, because it was a big loss.
It was a later game.
Oh, it was Memphis.
Navy
lost. Beat Memphis.
That's right. Memphis lost, which is a great thing.
Well, I'll tell you, the team now is Boise State. Boise State jumped into the rankings this week. They're number 25.
Yeah.
And then
so we're gonna need them to take an L at some point.
It's Boise State and Fresno State, I think, are the two that are probably like the most likely.
Liberty.
Oh, and then Liberty.
Liberty doesn't play anybody.
Liberty goes to App State this week.
Who looked
awful. Yeah, I was going to say App State got rolled by South Alabama, which
LSU.
I thought South Alabama was actually decent. Then I think you said that that was their first win, right? Like,
I think second.
1-2, they're 2-2 now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, like I don't know what to think, but yeah, I mean, for as far as like just Texas State, I mean, they just got to keep doing what they're doing. They just got to keep
winning.
They just got to win. Like that's all you can do. And then,
but
the Sun Belt is, I mean, it is top heavy, but I mean, it's going to be competitive. I mean, James Madison putting up 70 points against North Carolina.
Mac Brown was pissed.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Like
53 at half.
Yeah, I wasn't. Yeah,
they were on pace to put a hundo up
against an ACC team.
And I'm sure, I'm sure they let off the gas. I'm sure they started running the ball in the second half.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they did. So,
dude, that is nuts. 70 against.
Yeah, I mean, and it's definitely not. I mean, like Mac Brown's never had like a great team, but they're usually competitive. They're usually ranked. But I think this is
I think we talked about it during those ACC preview. Like they always start out pretty good. Like they start out pretty decent, and then they slowly just start falling apart.
Well, I mean, they were 3-0 going into that game.
Yeah, no,
so,
for sure.
I mean, so they were playing pretty good, all things considered.
That was Drake May last year. Like,
yeah.
Like, I mean, they started out super hot. Like, they were good, and then they just fell off hard.
Yeah, man, so...
And it looks like that's where they're going again.
And they haven't even started conference yet, so...
Yeah.
Which I know we didn't really cover them a whole lot, so I don't know what their conference schedule looks like.
Yeah, no idea. But, I mean, Clemson looked good. Clemson's kind of...
Clemson rolled, so... Miami, they started off slow. It was 15-15, and then they ended up winning 50-15, so...
Cam Ward took over.
Yeah, but... So I think, I mean, that's probably what it's going to come down to. It'd be Miami and Clemson end up playing.
I'm pretty sure.
Do they play in the regular season?
I'm not sure.
I don't think they do.
I think Cam Ward's the Heisman frontrunner at the moment.
He's got to be.
Yeah,
like he's got to be at least up there close. I mean, because I know Ewers had jumped to the front, and then obviously not playing. You know that knocks you down.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel's still up there, I think. Even though he hasn't played great, they've been playing better the last couple of weeks.
Homer take here. Garrett Nussmeier's putting up sneaky Heisman numbers right now.
Yeah.
I mean, he is. He's throwing for like 300 yards a game.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said, they just got to keep winning.
I think he has like 12 touchdowns or 13 passing touchdowns or something crazy.
Yeah, he's just going to have a meaningful win. Like that's
exactly.
That's what's going to be the difference. Like he could have great numbers, but if you lose to Ole Miss, you lose to
for sure.
You know, whatever ranked teams you end up playing. Then
I mean, if LSU somehow gets a few big wins, and even if they have 2 losses, and he continues at this trajectory, putting up these numbers, there's a case. I mean, Jaden Daniels won it last year with 3 or 4 losses.
Well, I mean, like, and I still remember like when RG3 won it, and they went 9-3, and.
But dude, Jaden Daniels did things that no other quarterback has ever done.
For sure.
In NCAA history.
I mean, he threw for almost 5,000 yards, like which is pretty unheard of in college football.
He was the first player in NCAA history to like throw for 400 and rush for 200 in the same game.
Yeah, no,
against Florida last year.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely went off.
Yeah, he was a special athlete for sure. So, but
and he's dicing up the Bengals.
Yeah, yeah, he looks sharp, man. So, but yeah, I mean, I think there's just so many, like with how like top heavy the SEC is, and I mean top heavy like as far as like the rankings, like how they just control the rankings. Like there's going to be so much movement just throughout the season.
But dude, with the SEC, like I was talking to this with a coworker today. Like whenever we started the SEC, like we had 2 tiers or 3 tiers. You had your elites, your like second tier, and then like your nobodies. Like I think there's only one team in the elite category right now, and that's Texas. I don't think Georgia's a good football team. I mean, we're going to make our picks here in a bit, but on the road, they are suspect. Carson Beck is a suspect quarterback.
For sure.
Defensively, they're going to be very good. Like, there's no doubt about that. Like, they're going to be a very good defensive football team. But if you can only go on the road and score 13 against Kentucky, that's a problem.
Well, and that's what I'm interested to see. You're going to find out in I mean, spoilers is one of our picks, but I mean, like you're gonna find out real fast what kind of team they are at Alabama this week.
And I don't rate Alabama at all as a football team.
Yeah.
But I also didn't rate Kentucky at all, who got the doors blown out the week before by freaking South Carolina.
Yep.
And Georgia goes in there and struggles heavily.
Yeah, dude.
Like Texas is the cream of the crop of the SEC. They're the top team in the SEC, I think, by a pretty decent margin. And then I think you have Georgia, Ole Miss, Tennessee played a decent team for the first time. And OU's defense is good.
Yeah.
Their offense is just awful. OU's in that next category, I think. Tennessee, and I think Alabama's probably the fifth team in that tier. And then below that, you have LSU, you have Mizzou, Aggie.
Yeah.
And then below that is just like the bad teams.
Yeah, then it's just everybody else for sure.
Like there's like 4 tiers.
Yeah.
And I just want LSU to get to that next tier, and with a win against Ole Miss, I mean that will.
Well, I was gonna say that's gonna set the tone right there.
Yeah.
And just, I mean, especially at home. Like, if you can at least get that win at home, then
I mean, it's gonna be rocking. Like Tiger Stadium is gonna be rocking at night.
for
like,
sure.
It's no doubt about
well,
it.
because like you said, so that was that. You said it's next, or that's October 12th. So
Yeah,
it's
it's the 12th.
So it's 3 weeks.
Yeah, so they have South Alabama by then Ole Miss.
So yeah, so at that point they could potentially be number 12. So you're looking at potentially like number 4 versus number 12,
Yeah.
possibly 11. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a high profile matchup.
sure.
Like, so. I
But
mean,
yeah, they're probably going to go to either wherever they're playing, Oregon or in.
yeah, I mean they'll for sure be to
Columbus.
Oregon because it's going to be.
Is it in Oregon or is it in Columbus?
It's in Eugene, I believe. So, yeah, so that's going to be a good one, man. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, the season is in full hype mode now.
Yeah,
so
dude, it's exciting.
it's gonna be great to see. So we're looking forward
A
to it.
little
but
disappointed I'm going to be working that weekend. but-
You never know, man. You never know.
no,
so.
I know I'm going to be working.
Oh yeah, you know you're working. So that is true.
Oh, God, if I
man.
call out, they'll know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Emergency.
That's right.
But that's crazy. You ready to go into the games?
Yeah, let's do it, man. Let's pick them.
All right, man. So our first one, so it's another, even though they did get rolled last week, I mean, it's still a good matchup, but I got Oklahoma State at Kansas State.
God, man, we went over Ollie Gordon, man. It's just not been there for him. But Kansas State, dude, to BYU getting rolled like that, I mean, I want to say Kansas State bounces back, but I just don't see it. I'm going Oklahoma State. Ollie Gordon has to figure it out at some point. Like, he has to, unless he's nursing an injury or something. I'm going to roll with Oklahoma State again. It's probably not the right call, but I'm doing it. Because after what I saw with Kansas State, I just can't roll with that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
What's the spread?
I think,
5.5?
I believe Kansas State's like
5.5.
3.5, I think, is what it was. So, I think that's just because it's at
5.
home.
I saw it at 5.
Oh, it's
one
at
point.
6 now.
I saw it 5.5.
Yeah. I'm going to go Kansas State. Just even though I will say, like, I watched Avery Johnson and like they talked about how like, he
The basketball coach?
yeah. Came from the Spurs.
Remember that guy?
Oh yeah, dude.
His voice, man. But yeah, I'm kidding.
But yeah, like they projected like him to be a big name coming out and making a lot of making a big impact, and
yeah,
he was just wildly unimpressive against BYU.
it's bad.
And so I don't think that he's that great, but also like if Ollie Gordon's not going to have success running the ball, and like Oklahoma State showing that they can't pass the ball, like I don't see how like they're going to go on the road and win that game. So
Agreed.
I got to go Kansas State on that one.
Yeah, definitely pick them. I mean, that's what this is.
Yeah, for sure. So
We're picking them, but that's definitely a toss-up game for sure. Like it can go either way. That's a pretty tough game to pick. But I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I mean, it can go either way.
yeah, and yeah, it really could. So,
But and then the next game, Louisville is going to Notre Dame.
yeah, this one I think Notre Dame is like a 3.5 point favorite.
I think so.
Louisville's looked pretty impressive, and Notre Dame, like I think they won by like 12 last week against another inferior opponent. Like they've just kind of been unimpressive. So I mean, I'm kind of split on I mean, they have Notre Dame at -6.5, which
That's
it's kind of crazy. I mean, Louisville's number 15, Notre Dame's number 16.
if that gets to 7, dude. God, you got to hammer that.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. I think just because of touchdown Jesus, I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. I think that they're gonna be able to pull it out. It's gonna be a tight game. I mean, I would think my guess is it probably ends up being like a 3-point game.
Yeah.
But I think Notre Dame's gonna end up finding a way to get it.
I mean, their defense is very good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like their defense is gonna keep them in the game. I'm gonna roll with Louisville. I think they go into South Bend and get the win. I mean, you can't lose to Northern Illinois and convince me that you can beat a ranked opponent. I mean, I guess A&M was ranked, but they shouldn't have been.
Still are.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, the spread being at 6.5, man. If that gets to 7, I feel like that's a lock. A Louisville.
Oh yeah, at
and the
least
points
covering
at 7,
it. Yeah,
dude, covering that seems pretty doable. But I'm gonna roll with Louisville for the outright win. I think they're gonna go in there and get it.
Think they're
done.
gonna take it?
Yeah, I think they're gonna get it done.
Should be a good one, dude. I think so.
There's
But
2 in a row we haven't agreed on, man.
yeah, that's kind of crazy. Let's see what we think about this one. The next one, going to Jerry World, Arkansas at Texas A&M.
Man, Arkansas. I mean, that was a great win on the road against Auburn. It wasn't pretty. I mean, Auburn looked awful offensively.
yeah,
like, just
so
bad,
bad,
man. Like
dude.
just underperformed so bad, especially at Jordan Hare. But
Which kind of surprises me with Hugh Freeze. I thought that they would
agreed.
be better.
I agree 100%, and that was a little disappointing from Auburn. But Arkansas showed some things, man, this year. Like again, they've been tested on the road twice already. I mean, they should have came out with a win against Oklahoma State on the road.
Yeah.
Went to Auburn on the road and won. They're kind of battle tested, man. And Sam Pittman's a really good coach.
Yeah, he's kind of impressed me. Like
Dude.
I thought he was on his way out, but
For what he's done with that with that roster, what he's done, I'm taking the Hogs. I think Arkansas gets the win. And the Aggies Aggie has been kind of like in that game, they've been kind of had their number because they've been at Jerry World for so long. Like every time they go to Jerry World, I feel like they come away with the win. But I'm taking Arkansas this year.
Yeah, I'm really torn on this, and I'm gonna take Arkansas just for the fact that, like, I don't know if you watched the A&M and Bowling Green game,
Dude, I turned it on just because it was so close.
but like
Hoping for
A&M,
an upset.
like man, they just look so bad. Like
Yeah.
it was just so bad, and they have their backup quarterback. And so even if Wegman comes back, he's been out for 2 weeks now, so he's going to be rusty coming back. And like you said, I mean, Arkansas, I mean, they definitely travel, especially for a game like this. So, I mean, I think they're going to go in and win it just because, I mean, for the exact reason you said is they've been battle tested and they've shown that they're right in every game. So, I mean, I think they can definitely go in and get it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think it's going to be a close one.
What's the line on that?
I think Aggie, it's like 3.5. Yeah.
I mean, that's probably about what it should probably be at, but
Yeah,
I just
A&M's
don't-
number 24.
I just
so.
don't trust Aggie, man. Like yeah.
I mean, their defense is still good, but
For sure.
their offense is so bad.
Absolutely.
Like, so bad.
Yeah. Mac Brown against the Blue Devils. North Carolina at Duke. A big basketball matchup.
I was going to say, dude, if we were in December right now, like this would be a big time matchup.
Huge.
So.
College game day would be there, man. Dickie V.
For sure.
But North Carolina just coming off the heels of a 70-point, giving up 70 against James Madison.
Yeah.
70 points. That's crazy. Against Duke, who, again, we don't really know much about Duke. They really haven't been kind of playing very well.
Look at
they're 4-0, but
they're 4-0, but they beat
nobody.
They beat Elon, Northwestern, UConn, and Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, so they have not been tested whatsoever. It is at Duke, which makes a little bit of a difference. But and then Northwestern, they won in overtime, by the way. So they haven't played anybody. I think I'm going to roll North Carolina. Again, Duke hasn't played anybody. James Madison, say what you will, they're a pretty good Sun Belt program, I think.
No, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure they're favorites to win the Sun Belt.
Yeah, I mean they're up
At
there
least
with,
on that,
with Texas State.
Yeah, on that side of the conference.
Yeah, they've definitely been showing it. I mean, that, like whoever their quarterback is this year, like he was legit. Like he's been going off this year. So, I think because it's at home, I'm going to go with Duke.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm looking at North Carolina's schedule. They didn't play really much either. Like they played James Madison, gave up 70. Their only other solid opponent, I guess you could say, is Minnesota.
And they went on the road.
Yeah, they snuck out 19-17 in that one.
Yeah.
But then, they played Charlotte and played North Carolina Central. So, but I think Duke, I think Malik Murphy, I think he's done a good job of just being a good game manager and just doing what he need to do. I mean, he was the backup at Texas last year, so he's definitely got the intangibles to be decent. So I think it's going to be a very good game, I think. And but I think Duke's going to end up winning that one. So
Gotcha.
That's 3 out of 4, dude.
Dude, it's crazy. Now the big one.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to agree on this one, though. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We kind of led into it a minute ago, but Georgia at Alabama. So what are you thinking, man?
Oh, gosh, man. This is a crapshoot for sure. This is going to be a crapshoot. You just don't know what Georgia's going to show up on the road. That's my biggest issue. I'm going to go Georgia. The reason I'm going Georgia is because Georgia's defense is legit. And Jalen Milroe.
Yeah.
I almost called him Jaden. Jalen Milroe is not a good quarterback. I still stand by this. He's not a passing quarterback. If they're going to try to run the ball, if he's going to try to be athletic, on the edge, Georgia has the athletes to keep him in check. Like, they do. So I think Georgia goes on the road. I think it's going to be a very close game. Honestly, what's the over-under? And I would honestly hit the under.
It's at 48.5.
Under. I don't think it gets to 50.
Yeah, I think it will be very low scoring for sure. Georgia's opening at 1.5-point favorites.
It's probably about right.
So yeah, I would guess by the end of it that it's going to be a pick 'em. It'll probably just be even.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take Bama, dude.
Yeah.
I think going into Tuscaloosa, I think that the crowd's going to show up because it is such a big matchup for them. College game days coming into town. I think it's going to be a big, and then just, like Alabama, like even though they did lose guys, like they're still got some top talent that's in there. And I think they're going to give Carson Beck some fits. And I do agree though. It's going to be a defensive showdown though. I think it could be another 13-12 type of game like the Kentucky game was. But I think Alabama's going to take it, which is going to be wild because they'll jump to number 2 probably.
That's wild. But, again, all of these games are, they're within a touchdown for sure.
Yeah, they're all going to be very
These are a lot of
competitive.
very, very coin flip games, and this is one of them, I think.
Yeah.
And, again, I'm not high on Bama at all, but Bama was a way worse team, or they're a way worse team this year than they were last year, and they rolled Georgia in the SEC championship game.
Oh, yeah, for
rolled
sure.
them.
Yeah,
But they lost so many. My biggest thing, and you see it with Michigan, and you see it with A&M, like you can't lose 30 to 40 kids off of a roster and expect to be good.
Oh, yeah.
And all three of those teams, not only did they lose that many people off their roster, they have brand new head coaches coming in.
Yeah.
It changes things. They have a lot to overcome, I think, and that's why I'm going Georgia.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that at all, but I just feel like
Georgia's a bad road team. I'm in the same sentiment.
I think that's going to kind of be the big thing is that they're a bad road team. Carson Beck, the only time he's really been challenged was against Alabama last year, and like I said, it is a totally different team, and he got rolled. But
I just don't believe in Milroe. I don't believe in Carson Beck either.
Yeah,
but I believe in Georgia's defense more than I believe in Milroe.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think honestly, what it's going to come down to is the running game.
Yeah,
who's going to have success on the ground? And I know Alabama's offensive line has been highly touted this year, so And I think that's kind of what's going to come down to is Alabama's offensive line versus Georgia's defensive line.
Agreed.
Is going to be the big difference maker. So
That's gonna be a good one to watch in the trenches.
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
dude, it's going to be a lot of fun. 6:30 matchup on ABC. So
I don't have work this week.
I'll be watching that one, dude. So.
Absolutely, dude.
For
Be
sure.
locked in. You going to a game again?
I'm gonna go watch.
Oh, you're going to.
We're going to the Austin FC.
I was gonna say, man,
Probably
we
so.
get together and watch.
If we don't end up going, then yeah, we'll for sure get together and watch it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if Austin FC is even worth watching right now. We don't ever talk about MLS just because not much to talk about.
But
But
I don't think they're very good.
yeah, like I was talking to my future brother-in-law. They're big. They have season tickets every year for Austin FC, and he said they have the talent to be good, but he said their manager, like
Yeah.
they said the way he manages, that he doesn't.
It's Josh
he-
Wolf.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to put it together, and
Yeah.
he said fans are starting to turn on him, but the supporters are kind of putting it down for now. But he said it's a matter of time before, because I mean, like they had that great season, their inaugural season, they had a great season,
Yeah.
and then they've just spiraled down ever since then. So.
It is a great atmosphere. You know, Jazzy Zardes plays for.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I remember
crazy.
when they signed him, and
It's crazy.
I remember I asked my sister, I was like, "You even know who that is?" And she's like, "No." And I was like, "He was like one."
The
I was
striker.
like, he was a striker. I was like, now it was the bad U.S. men's team,
Yeah.
but
The team that didn't qualify.
yeah,
for the
but he
World
was
Cup.
at least he at least made the national team at one point. So,
Yeah.
but I don't think he's even really done much since he
No.
got there. So
I think he's had a few decent goals, but that's it.
yeah, I mean, there's not much to call home about. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, man. So it's
fun.
gonna be a great weekend. You gonna get your game of the week?
We're doing another one.
Yeah, dude, I got one for you.
God, here we go.
Last week we had Poo Sticks, just posted on TikTok for all of you to, if you ever want to see what Poo Sticks is about. Got another good one this week. Our Englishmen, or our Europeans, they have some great games and competitions that they love to do. And this week it is the World Gurning Championships.
Gurning. Jesus, that's got to be Irish.
It's been going on.
Is that Irish?
It is Irish.
Gurning.
And it's been going on since 1297.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Gurning is that's another term for farm work. Okay, so in Irish, the competitors, so they have to churn butter as fast as possible. They have to take the buttermilk in a pot, put it on their head, and balance it without spilling 100 meters. Once they get to the 100 meters, there's a dairy cow waiting. And you have to milk the dairy cow and fill up a jar and then chug the milk and the buttermilk. And the first person to finish both amounts of milk wins the race.
That is impressive, dude. That's not close. But so
Tried.
the World Gurning Championships.
How do you spell that?
Gurning.
Okay.
So it happens at the Egremont Crab Fair every year,
Okay.
which also sees wheelbarrow races and horn blowing competitions.
So there's some farm
And
stuff in there.
the entrants try to pull the most grotesque face possible while wearing a large horse collar.
Oh my God.
So just to show you, so these are some of the faces.
Jesus Christ.
So
Okay, so the requirement is to not have teeth.
it's in Cumbria. So where's Cumbria?
I have no idea.
So I don't know. It might not be Irish. Sorry to our Irish listeners. If you
God, what a game.
yeah, dude. So you pull off the ugliest face pretty much. And
How do you score that?
there's 5 judges that. So they said the biggest thing is that it's the biggest transformation from your normal face to your contorted face.
Gotcha. So I was
Or
way
a
off.
panel of 5 judges.
I was
Yeah,
way
looking
off.
for the biggest transformation in face.
Interesting.
So yeah, so it goes all the way back to 1267 when crab apples were given to the townsfolk by the lord of the manor. So,
So no milk.
so yeah, so one guy, he's going for his 20th championship this year,
Dude.
and he said that his goal is 30.
Dang.
So So yeah, for all our listeners out there,
That's Tom Brady levels.
you need to look, dude. Dude, he's the GOAT. He is the Joey Chestnut
Dude.
of face transformation.
God, Joey.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, man. But that is the gurning competition.
Sweet, man.
I actually feel like I have to see where exactly that's from because I hate to take down our people of Ireland there.
It's got to be in England.
It's in the UK is all
Yeah.
it says. So Cumbria, wherever Cumbria is.
That's like probably a region or something.
It's probably not Ireland. So
Yeah, whatever.
apologies to Ireland. So
Close enough.
yeah, man. So next time you're in the UK, make sure you enter into the World Gurning competition. So I'm gonna start practicing now.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, man, we did it again. So this was fun, everybody. We appreciate it. Make sure that you go and follow all of our social media. We're on X at facevalue2024. You can email us questions at facevalue2024@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on TikTok. We try to post little snippets of what we do week to week, and we just keep trying to have fun with it. And thank you to everybody. I actually did a shout out to our top followers on Facebook today. For everybody, for our top followers that are just participating in our contests and everything. I'll actually pull it up right now. So.
And yeah, to that we had a lot better turnout this week for the pick'em. So keep sending those pick'ems in. I mean, we'll post up the 5 games again this week. But again, it's just a nice, cool thing to tally up and have everybody kind of get involved with the podcast.
For sure, and we're going to look to get the standings together, and we'll try to get those posted pretty soon.
Yeah, we can post up an updated standings for sure.
Yeah, I know some people have been doing really well, but as far as our engagement list, our top 5, shout out to Kevin Gibson, Cody Garza, Rel Rice, Dustin White, and Will Maraja. Shout out to y'all for participating, being our top 5 engagers of our Facebook page, and really to everybody else that participates and posts your picks and just comments and everything like that. We just really appreciate everything that y'all do, and just continue to follow, continue to listen, continue to share. That's the biggest thing. So
yeah, thank y'all for listening and making it this far for sure. We really appreciate you guys.
12 weeks in, and we're just going to keep on going. So
That's
hopefully
right.
you keep listening. So until next time, we appreciate it.
See ya.